Are you interested in writing an impeccable project proposal? If yes, I want to really share with you a few hacks, a few tips, a few tricks for you to really write an impeccable proposal that will let you win the project that you want, okay? So here's the summary here. When you think about a project proposal, think about a written document that outlines everything that stakeholders should know about a project, right? So here I'm talking about the timeline, for instance, the budget, the objectives, the goals, everything that you need to really make sure every part of your storytelling has to fit into the problem, but also the solution you are actually bringing into your project. Okay, so the cool thing about your project proposal is that you don't have to write a lot. You don't have to write like a very lengthy document. Not at all. What you want is you want to summarize your project details and sell your idea so stakeholders buy into the initiative, right? So because you want to really win the contract, you want to win the project, so you have to really make sure that you put your best ideas forward. So the definition is pretty clear, right? Written document outlining everything that people need to know about a project. Okay. Now your stakeholders are layered. You have different layers of stakeholders. Some stakeholders are the decision makers. Some are just some just need to know, right? For your info stakeholders. Now, one thing you want to understand here is that the goal of your project proposal is to actually secure external funding, allocate company resources to your projects, gain stakeholder buy-in. I want to insist on that buy-in. And again, when I speak about gaining stakeholder buy-in, it's not just about the decision makers, but also all the what I call the peripheral stakeholders. Okay, and you also want to build momentum and excitement through your project proposal. It's important as you write a project proposal to understand that you're not just writing any kind of documents, because some project proposals are different from project charters versus business cases. So be sure that you have the right document that you are really putting forward. So a project proposal and a project charter, they serve those two documents serve different purposes in the project creation process. So a project proposal is actually a persuasive document meant to convince stakeholders why the project should be carried out in the first place. A project charter, on the other hand, is actually a reference document that defines project objectives, and it cannot be created until the project proposal is approved. So you need project proposal approval before you actually create a project charter. So, if you are trying to write an impeccable project proposal this year, it's important to understand that you have different types of project proposals, and the right project proposal can really can make can make the difference. Okay, between you getting millions of dollars in funding and you getting nothing. So you got to really, before you start writing your project proposal, make sure that you know exactly what kind of proposal exactly you are writing. Are you writing a solicited project proposal? Are you writing an unsolicited project proposal? Are you writing an informal project proposal? Are you writing a renewal project proposal? Are you writing a continuation project proposal, or are you writing a supplemental project proposal? So let me first start with the last one, a supplemental project proposal. What is it? Well, you are actually you want to send a supplemental proposal to a stakeholder already involved in your project, right? So in this type of proposal, you are actually letting the stakeholder know the project is beginning, while also asking for additional resources, additional money, for instance, additional logistical resources, or additional manpower. Okay, you should really persuade the stakeholder to contribute more to the project in this proposal. This is kind of similar to a startup asking investors for more cash after they have been funded the first time around. What is a continuation project proposal? Well, you will send continuations as a reminder to a stakeholder, letting them know the project is beginning. And in this project proposal, you are simply providing information about the project instead of persuading the stakeholder. You've already persuaded them, okay? You already secured buy-in anyway. What about a renewal project proposal? You see this a lot when it comes to government contracting. especially if the agency is happy with your work, they will just, they will agree to a renewal project proposal. So you will send renewals to existing clients in hopes that they will extend their services with your organization. And in this type of project proposal, the goal here is what? To emphasize past results your team has produced for the client and persuade them you can produce future results or even better results in the future, okay? You also have an informal project proposal. So you may have a client send you an informal request for a project proposal, in which case you can respond with your project pitch. So because this is not really an official RFP, the rules are less concrete, okay? Next, you have unsolicited project proposal. So you will send unsolicited proposals without an RFP, meaning no one asked you for your proposals in the first place. Okay, you're just sending something unsolicited. So in this case, you won't be up against other companies or teams, but you will still need to be persuasive because you have no knowledge of whether the stakeholder you are pitching to needs you in the first place. Finally, you have solicited. So you will send solicited proposals in response to a request for proposal RFP. An RFP announces a project in detail and asks for bids from qualified teams. So because you are competing against other companies for this type of proposal, you must do thorough research and write persuasively. So now let's talk about the nitty gritty here. How do you write a project proposal this year? First thing first, start with an executive summary. Don't really skip that section. This is so important. I mean, our team has seen a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of government contract bidders actually skip this section. This is a big no-no. You do not want to really skip that, okay? Because when you think about it, the executive summary, this is actually your first impression. And as you know, and as you and I know, first impressions matter, not just in life, but also in government contracting or just in business contracting. Okay, so what you want to do is, in terms of the executive summary, you want to really summarize, what's coming, and you want to persuade the stakeholder to continue reading. I mean, stakeholders are busy; they receive multiple pitches a day or in a month, and yours is not the only one. Okay, so depending on the complexity of your project, your executive summary may be one paragraph or a few paragraphs. And your executive summary should include the problem your project plans to solve. And the problem has to be really, really granular, really clear. Okay. The solution your project provides for that problem and the impact your project will have, not only for the business, but also for society or for the customers too. Okay. You should only address these items briefly in your executive summary because, again, this is a summary. Okay, you'll have plenty of time later on to discuss those topics in your proposal. Next, you want to explain the project background. So if you are trying to write a project proposal, after writing an executive summary, you want to explain the project background. So basically, you want to use references and statistics to convince your reader that the problem you are addressing is worthwhile. So this is where you want to have numbers. You want to have quants. You want to have quantitative data. Okay, it's not just about talking blah 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 blah. You got to have facts. You got to have trends. You got to have benchmarking data. Some questions to include here are: what is the problem your project addresses? What is already known about this problem? Right? Who has already worked on the problem? What have they done? Who has addressed this problem before? What research is there? And what is past research? Why is past research insufficient at addressing this problem? In other words, why do you think you are qualified to actually address this problem? Okay. So if you want to write a project proposal to actually win millions of dollars, you want to present a solution. See, the whole thing is that, you can talk and talk and talk and talk, but if you are not presenting a solution that the client, the reader cares about, they're not going to push your project far. So present a solution that is actually in line with what you're trying to sell. So you just presented a problem, right? You talk about the problem in the project background section. So the next logical step in proposal writing is to actually present a solution. Now, here you have a great opportunity to outline your project approach in greater detail. This is where storytelling plays a big role. You have to really explain in clear terms, in captivating terms, why you have the right solution. So some items to include here are your vision statements for the project, your project schedule, including important milestones. The milestones are important because you're asking for money, you're asking for resources. The reader, the stakeholder, the client wants to make sure the funds will be used appropriately. You want to really also mention the project team roles and responsibilities, a risk register showing how you will mitigate risk, the project deliverables, and also reporting tools you will use throughout the project. If you have special software that you are going to use, you want to mention that here. Okay. Now you may not have all these items in your proposal format, but you can decide what to include based on the project scope. This section will likely be the longest and most detailed section of your proposal because you will discuss everything involved in achieving your proposed solution, right? So if you were to compare and contrast this section to the executive summary, this is like day and night, really. You also, the next step here, you want to, after presenting a solution, you want to define project deliverables and goals. So really, what you want to do here is that stakeholders needs convincing. They needs to know, or they want to know what's going to happen. What are you going to produce at the end of your project? Whether that's a product, a program, an upgrade in technology, or something else, right? You got to be really clear here. Don't try to razzle dazzle your stakeholders. Be straightforward. So as the stakeholder reads through your vision, this will be the section where they say, "Oh wow, this is really fantastic. Aha, this is what they will use my resources for." Right? You want to really be as clear as possible, as transparent as possible. So when defining your deliverables, you should include the end product or final objective of your project, a project timeline for when deliverables will be ready, and also you might have some goals that align with the deliverables you are actually producing. So if you are trying to write a project proposal this year, you're trying to really get ahead real fast. You want to list what resources you need, right? This is actually if you were to really if you were to equate this to a pitch deck, this is the ask. This is the resources that you want. So it's important to understand that you have defined the problem, you have come up with a solution, you have come up with the approach. But if you have actually the deliverables. But if you have no resources, nothing's going to happen. If you have no money, nothing's going to happen, right? So you want to go into detail about what resources you need to accomplish your initiative. And here, again, you have to be as granular as possible. So here you have three elements to actually mention here. You have the project budget, you have the breakdown of cost, and you have the resource allocation plan. For instance, when I talk about resource allocation plan, this is actually your opportunity to show trust, to show reliability, and to show validation for your idea. In other words, you are a good financial manager. You know how to allocate resources. Okay, you know how to really make sure the resources, the little resources you have from the client, are going to be used appropriately. What about the breakdown of cost? Breakdown of cost is also important because you want your stakeholders to understand what their buy-in is being used for. So here you want to really mention fixed cost, but also variable cost. Okay. The thing is that there will be unexpected cost anyway. That happens in all projects, but you want to really put the possibility out there. And also you want to really talk about the project budget. So when I speak about the project budget, I'm speaking about everything from the supplies you will need to create a product, to advertising, to marketing, to logistics, to human resources, to team salaries, and so on and so forth. Okay. You want to include any budget items you need to deliver the project here. Be as comprehensive as possible because you are trying to make sure the stakeholder understands exactly what you are trying to get. And finally, you want to wrap up your project proposal with a takeaway, okay, with a conclusion. So the conclusion is actually the antithesis. The antithesis for it's actually the opposite of your executive summary. Okay, So you want to briefly summarize the problem your project addresses and your solution for solving that problem. And you can emphasize the impact of your project in the conclusion. But hey, again, keep this section relevant, just like you would in a traditional essay. Okay. So if you want to write an effective project proposal this year, it's important to understand that you have to not only know your audience, but you also want to make sure that you are speaking to them through your storytelling. So knowing your audience is important. Let's say if you're reaching out to a state, a government agency in Illinois or in Texas or in New Mexico, you have to know exactly what kind of needs they have, what kind of projects they have they have actually approved in the past, right? What are the needs? So if you're reaching out to a private sector player, you have to know exactly what they want. What is their pain points? What are they trying to achieve? Okay. So if you know your audience pretty well, if you understand their needs, if you understand their pain points, you are going to come up with solutions that really fit those pain points. Remember that when you speak about knowing your audience, when I speak about knowing your audience, I'm not just speaking about geography. Geography plays an important role, that's for sure. But you also have timing. Timing is critical because the time of the month of the year will dictate what the needs are. Okay, the trends in the economy, in the overall economy, will dictate what the needs are. I mean, think about it. What happened during COVID a couple of years ago? The needs were totally different. You had the same player, the same company, the same government agency, but basically the economy was going through some tumultuous time. So the needs are different. So that's why it's important to understand that when you know your audience, it's not just about geography, but also chronology. And you want to be persuasive, okay? I mean, if you want to win over a contract, if you want to win over a project, you got to be persuasive. So write convincingly, write persuasively. You want to really fine tune your storytelling. It's all about storytelling, okay? Because at the end of the day, the reader is going to ask a simple question: why should I care about this project in the first place? I'm busy. I have 1,000 things to take care of. Why should I really waste my time with this project? And this is your answer. This is your opportunity to provide a complete and convincing answer to the reader. If you want to write a project proposal this year, you want to really be concise, okay? You want to be concise but precise. In other words, you want to be as simple as possible. Don't try to complicate things. Don't try to really write in a convoluted format. Don't write in a convoluted just go straight to the point and try to put yourself in your reader's shoes. See, readers don't have time. Okay, they probably read multiple projects proposal, and yours is just one of them. Okay, so don't think that yours is actually the one that will change their life or their situation. No, no, no. Don't really be no. What you want to really do is that if you respect the reader's time, they will respect you back. Okay, so be very simple. You want to you want to really explain things in a very easy way, in a very easy format. Don't overcomplicate simple things, okay? So you can discuss actually your project plan for your proposed like initiative in a very straightforward manner. Next, you want to, and will be the end here. If you want to write an effective and an authoritative and persuasive project proposal, do your research. Do your research. Please do not assume that you know. I mean, I don't care how experienced you are in the field. You still have to do your research because you never finish learning. You always have opportunities to learn. Okay, so do your research to see what's happening on the market, who has actually addressed this problem in the past, what were their fortes, what were their drawbacks, and really you want to build on that. Without doing research, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. Again, it doesn't matter if you have quote unquote experience when it comes to this particular topic. You always have an opportunity to learn something new. Things are changing. Things are changing all the time, and if you are constantly renewing your skills, you're going to learn new things and you're going to be better. You're going to be better and faster, and you're going to be more competitive than ever. That's why it's important to actually pay attention to the trends, pay attention to benchmarking data this year. So what's the takeaway here? In today's conversation, I spoke to you about how to write a project proposal. I defined what a project proposal is, the types of a project proposal, how do you actually write it, and the tips for writing an effective project proposal. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.